All right, well, good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, September the 23rd, and I'm glad to be with you by way of video. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks, we'll do this for another couple of weeks, and then we'll be back together on Wednesday nights, I'm hoping. Um, so tonight, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that is that we're not going to jump into the second chapter of Philippians tonight. That would be the next thing we would do. We're ready to start chapter 2. But instead, I want to take a moment to remind you of the fact that we have a team of people that are headed to Oklahoma in the morning. And like we did when the last time we had a group that went to Oklahoma, I want to remind you of the importance of missions. So that's what we're going to try to do today. And I've got a couple of passages that I'm going to share with you. Um, Familiar passages, I'm sure, but some that I want us to notice as we prepare, as the team prepares to go, and as we prepare to send them. So Acts 13:44 or 14, Acts 13:47. Luke tells us this: "For this is what the Lord has commanded us: I have made you a light for the Gentiles to bring salvation to the ends of the earth." Now, keep in mind that Israel was created for the purpose of being a light to the Gentiles. That the Messiah would come through Israel, and everybody was supposed to look at Israel and say, "Wow, we want your God to be our God." But so many times throughout the Old Testament, the Jewish people just dropped the ball. Israel dropped the ball, and were not the example that God intended for them to be. But that was always the intention, right? Was that they would be a light to the Gentiles. Now, fast forward to the New Testament, those of us that have accepted Christ, we have become grafted into that Israel. I mean, Paul talked about it in the sense of Israel, there being a spiritual Israel and the physical Israel. Physical being those that were born into Israeli nationality, and the spiritual being those of us who have been grafted in because of what Christ has done for us. So in the New Testament, this command is for all of us that are part of the church, all of us that have been grafted into Israel, that light that is supposed to lead people to God. Okay. Now, earlier in the book of Acts, in chapter 1, as a part of, this is part of the Great Commission. Usually we look in Matthew for that, but this is part of the Great Commission as well. Verse 8 says, "But you will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come on you." Well, that happens when you've accepted Christ. "And you'll be my witnesses in Jerusalem and all Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth." And you can see in this passage in particular how that the starting point was always Jerusalem, and that's where it was. I mean, that's where Israel, that was home to the people of Israel, right? So as the Messiah's relationship with mankind started with Israel, so the ministry of the gospel starts in Israel, and it works its way out. And so that's what we're getting at here is that the message of the gospel needed to travel, and it needed to travel as far as was possible, and they refer to that as the ends of the earth. We in the United States would probably be considered in the ends of the earth at this point in history, right? That this was written. We have a mission team that is going to Oklahoma, which is also part of that ends of the earth. I mean, it's part of our responsibility to get the gospel to everywhere, including Oklahoma. Now, what we're fortunate of in that situation in Oklahoma is that there are folks that are already sharing the gospel there, and they're doing a great job of it. And Jimmy and Penny and Ashley, for that matter, are doing a wonderful job sharing the gospel with the people of that area. So what our mission team's doing is just trying to make that more effective, allow them to have more impact, and support them in what they're doing. So I'm thankful for those of you that are going, those of you that have already been before, and those of you that plan to go in the future. This is our calling, right? And then we look back, I mentioned Matthew earlier, but Matthew, it says it this way: "Go therefore, make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe everything I've commanded you. And remember, I'm with you always to the end of the age." So these are marching orders from Jesus himself that we are supposed to go and do this. Now, the reality is not everybody can go, and I know that, and not everybody is equipped to go, whether it be physically or financially, just don't have the means of going. But when it comes to missions, I just don't want us as a church to ever lose sight of the fact that missions is a responsibility for all of us. Whether you're able or willing to go to Oklahoma, you still are part of the team that is going because of your support. And so I've left off a letter here, uh, but you've heard me use this quote many times. When it comes to missions, we have three options: to go, to send, or to just disobey. And so we've got a team of people who are willing to go, and our church is sending them. And how do we send them? Well, I don't know if anyone has at this point, but you might consider financially helping send somebody. You maybe could help foot the bill for somebody to go. Otherwise, you're praying. You're praying because you have a member of your family, your church family, that is at work in the mission field. Perhaps you can pray for them and just keep tabs on their families while they're away. I mean, there are lots of ways that you can support. And so my hope is that you as a church, that we as a church will find ways to support this mission team and the many others that will be sending in the future. Um, Again, thank you for joining us tonight. Just again, I just want to remind us that every mission is a mission of the church, not just of a few people. So be in prayer for them. They're leaving at 5 o'clock, I believe, tomorrow morning, and they'll be gone for about a week. So just keep them in your prayers and in your thoughts, and their families as well. If you need me through the week, I hope you'll let me know. Otherwise, I'll see many of you on Sunday. We'll try to make sure we have a video on Sunday morning for those of you that will be watching from home. Otherwise, have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you soon.